The Venusians are, obviously from Venus, a reality that's based on love and light and beauty and freedom. Sometimes you'll go someplace, you'll step inside and you'll go, oh, this is, no, I'm leaving now. But then you might go to another place and you go, oh, wow, I don't know what's going on in here, but I'm going to come in and find out, because this place feels like really loving and really nice and sweet. That's how Venus feels.
The Venusians, and Sue, I know you've talked about your journeys to Venus. You actually, I believe, wrote a book on going to Venus in your meditations. And what I've experienced about the Venusians is that with them being so close to the Earth, they have a lot of interaction with our healing process, in the sense that we are connected to more than just each other. We're connected to this entire solar system. So they have a lot to do with that. To me, their energy is very much spiritual leadership. So they are healers, they are teachers, and they also are beings who will help initiate and prepare those star seeds who are coming from higher frequencies, preparing to integrate and incarnate on the Earth. So they have a really large involvement with the galactic beings that are coming to embody for a high level of service.
Definitely, for a higher level of service. And that service isn't like most people would think, oh, they're going to serve the people. No, the service is for the planet. They're coming to service the planet. And in that process, the humans who can wrap their minds around that, who can say, wow, this is our planetary mother. And that's the same way as Venus. When Venus was younger, it was more interactive with the third dimensionals, because that was a beginning of a new kind of being, a third dimensional being, and a new kind of planet, a planet that would be the home world for a third dimensional world. And just like everything, you say you're going to build a house and you think, oh, piece of cake. But lots of things can go wrong when you're building that house. And you have to not freak out and say, okay, well, we tried this and this. Let's try something different. And let's just stay calm and stay with our purpose. The purpose of love and light. Because that is a Venusian purpose, the purpose of love and light. And boy, humans could sure use some love and light, couldn't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, now that we move into talking about the Pleiadians, I feel like there are some really strong similarities with the Venusian energy and the Pleiadian energy. They both have that center of purpose that's rooted in the love and light, and they also both are very involved with creativity, the aspects and the beauty of being able to create and have that be a multidimensional activity. So the Pleiadians, now this is a really popular group that a lot of people talk about. And Sue, these were one of the first galactic beings that you interfaced with.
Oh, the Pleiadians are wonderful. They're just, I think of Pleiadians and I kind of go, so just the way to know that is you just kind of go, because they're so loving. They're just so loving, and that whole culture is loving. They're like the sister to Gaia, which is our third-dimensional Earth. Gaia and the Pleiades are very close because the Pleiadians have been interfacing with the humans. So some of the humans are, especially the humans that are frightened or angry or having a difficult time, then it would be the Pleiadians that would come to them. And the Pleiadians would say, yes, this is a difficult time, and difficult just means that one is moving into a frequency of reality that you haven't experienced before. And so it's just like if you suddenly went to a brand new school, and it was a very good school, and you're really excited to be in that school. Just because it was a good school and you're excited to be at that school doesn't mean that you would feel good when you went to the school, because it's different. It's different. And so it would be, the Pleiades would be very different, because in the Pleiadians, they are soldiers. They are soldiers, and they wear blue a lot, and they calm you down. That's what they'll do. The Pleiadians, they're really about the chakras. They have a lot to do. So you come in through your crown chakra, and then you go through your throat chakra, you go in through your heart chakra, and then you move down into those lower chakras, ones who are interfacing with Gaia, but not just with Gaia. They're interfacing with Gaia and with all these higher frequencies. So they're very important.
Yes. I love what you were saying about how they calm us down. Something that I have observed with the Pleiadians is that they have a very clear sense of mental energy as compared to us here in the third dimension moving into the fourth.
Yeah.
There is a lot of mental and emotional energy that just runs rampant in the field.
Yeah.
It can sometimes run rampant in ourselves. And for a lot of people who are energetically sensitive, or if they are used to taking in that energy, which is a whole other conversation of not being able to absorb all that energy. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm an empath, I take it all in, but that's not really the healthiest thing all the time. The Pleiadians help us to understand the mental and emotional information in the field on Earth without getting swept into the waves and the noise. They help us to really find clarity through our chakra system, like you were talking about, Sue, so that we can have a more enjoyable evolutionary process in the midst of challenges. And the Pleiadians, they too had a evolutionary process themselves, which was not really galactically quote unquote that long ago. And they're kind of like our cosmic cousins, so they really are a big prevalent energy field on Earth.
Yes, and whenever I think of the Pleiadians, I think of the color blue. Something, how the color blue just kind of calms you. And they are warriors, but they're warriors that fight for light and love. They don't fight for, I want this, I need that. No. They are warriors for the light. And so what the Pleiadians do is that when people get really frightened or really angry, it's a really good time to call on the Pleiadians. and you'll feel like a blueness, like the blue sky or the blue water or blue river. You get that kind of blue feeling, and then it's like, okay, this is nice. And so they help people calm themselves so that they can make decisions that are based on love, light, purpose, and most important, assisting Gaia through her process. And there's a lot of things that are going on in terms of people waking up to the fact that the planet is a living being. And that's what the Pleiadians, they really want the humans to know. This isn't just a big rock. This is a living being. And one of their primary purposes is to tell people, yes, you are a component of the planet, and you chose to take a third-dimensional vessel on this third-dimensional planet and be a warrior for Gaia. Feel the blue sky and feel the blue ocean and feel these different energy fields that are being awakened within this now.
You called them one time in a previous videos, they're like the waker-uppers. I feel like they do appear to a lot of starseeds and people who came here to help with this healing process. I feel like they're one of the first beings in to be like, hey, we're here to help you during this weird awakening process you're going through. So call on us. We're here to help.
Yeah, it is almost like Gaia and the Pleiadians are sisters.
Now, the Sirians are a group that were here pretty early on Earth, and I know, so you've talked a little bit about them in some of our other videos, but the Sirians have a lot to do with technology. They have a lot to do with how the Earth herself is evolving. They actually, in the higher frequencies, work a lot with the Arcturians. So similar to them, they have that warrior-like energy, but not to take, but to assist. So, and there's also Sirius B, and a lot of people talk about that being the place where the cetaceans are, where the water beings of a higher consciousness are at too. So there is there's a big diversity in the Sirian energy. But with that being said, I will hand it over to you, Sue. What do you feel?
When I think of the Sirians, in my mind, the Sirians, they're related to all of the pyramids, because the pyramids, they mean something. They're that moving up, moving up to the peak of ourselves. But then also the pyramids, you could go into the pyramids, and then you can go into the core of the planet. So it's kind of like a diamond. With the Sirians, they take you to the highest of the high, but they also take you to the core of the core. And there's been some really wonderful movies about that I've enjoyed so much, because they'll take you into this place where you go down deep inside of yourself. And then also you go up higher to your higher dimensional self at the same time. Yeah.
And there are so many others. There's the Orions, there's the beings from the other constellations, such as the Alpha Centaurians. So there are a lot of different galactic groups that we might not have mentioned, but maybe people listening feel connected in some way or called to connect with some of these other beings. So we've talked a little bit about this in the past couple of videos on how to establish that connection, but why don't we just review a little bit for anyone new listening? Sue, how would you go about connecting?
First, okay, I'm going to tell you exactly how I connected, how that worked with me, is that the Arcturians were the very first ones that connected with me, or I connected with them, or whatever happened. But it was when I first started to meditate, and I didn't even know what that meant, but that I started that and I started to meditate. And then when I started to meditate, then I started hearing things, and I was told to write it down because, you know, if I didn't write it down, I'd forget it, because it's of a frequency that our daily self cannot hold that frequency very long. So we have to go into a state of meditation in order to have those experiences. That's so unique, but we all have it inside of us. There's no one that is too good or too bad. You know, too good to have it or too bad to have it. It is, everyone has that possibility. And it's about whether or not we choose to explore it. Just think about, that's interesting, that there is more than we can even think about. I always was an out there kid and an out there adult, and, you know, I could always be out there. But then in the early 80s, I started like getting communications. They told me, go to the same place at the same time and do a little meditating and make sure that you have some way of documenting what your experience is. And I probably say this every time we have this meeting, but it's such an important thing to do, because it's not like you have to be good enough. Everybody is good enough. You know, we're all good enough. And it's about, are we ready to expand our mental abilities, you know, expand that which our brain does, expand that which we are able to talk about, and what we're able to love, and what we are able to ground and to share. So it's just a wonderful thing that this is a now, that all of these things can happen, because when something new comes into your life, there's going to be parts of that new that are really new, and you, what? Why is that? What's that mean? What is that about? What happened there? And that's when we have to kind of, okay, I don't really understand it yet, but it feels good. And that's where we go. If it doesn't feel good, then you have to let it go. This is where we really have to trust ourselves. If it feels good, let it in. If it doesn't feel good, this is not for me now. And I release it. I release you. I release. And we all have that ability. It's pretty obvious that this is a time of shifting. This is the time. Just allow yourself to accept what is different, accept what is new, and trust your feelings. If your feelings say, no, don't do that, then don't do that. But if your feelings say, oh, that's a little weird, that's a little scary, but I still want to do it, then do it. Allow yourself to go there. That means you're ready. It's just about being ready. There isn't a right way or a wrong way to be ready. These are all of these aspects of ourselves. And as we allow ourselves to have these aspects intermingle, each one of those individual aspects will shift and change and grow and become more powerful.